Fucking, goddamn. Well, hopefully this will be better. And let's start throwing out the links. As whoops-a-doodle, I made a fucky-wucky. Happens to the best of us. See if anyone shows up. I figure I'll see this pop up. Like, why did he do it like 3 times? Because I made a fucky-wucky. That's why. Posting up all of the fucking links. Because I am not good with this technical thing. Bit of a Luddite at times when it comes to my knowledge about technology. What can you do? Except learn how to do it properly. Working on it. Takes a lot of time to learn new stuff. So do forgive me while I fuck up. All of our sins. Hey. Yes, it works. Huzzah. If you could throw an invite link to the others so they can join, I'd be very appreciative. But I am well enough, Gary. Well enough. Slightly disappointed. I was looking forward to a debate tonight, and I was denied because no call, no show. I understand that life is a precarious thing that can suddenly drag you away. No, I did not catch Josh Friedman's stream earlier. I've been busy for most of the day doing that whole social interaction thing with all the folks. Something that, I'm kind of good at. I can be incredibly diplomatic when I want to be. But, hey, I don't want to be diplomatic when answering questions about myself. I want to be honest. So, ask me your fucking questions. Anything you want to know. No, the debate didn't happen, John. The gentleman who was supposed to be my opponent, no call, no show. I sent him a message over Discord, which we had spoken to earlier on yesterday, at 15 minutes until. Let him know, 15 minutes until the debate, sir. If you know where I'm supposed to go, please tell me. 5 minutes before the debate, you haven't contacted me or said anything. And at the time of the debate, I guess that the situation in your life has prevented you from being here. I understand how that works. So please let me know you would like to reschedule at your soonest convenience, and I will be more than happy to, should I be available. If I'm not available, I'll send him a fucking message to tell him why I can't be there, because that's the courteous thing to do. Oh well. Yeah. He was something. I don't know what he was. I just hope he will answer my questions about, why were you not there yesterday in a reasonable manner. If he ever contacts me again, or was just jerking my leg along to try and fucking feel better. Don't know. We will find out as time goes by. We had set an array of limits for questions not to be asked, and the questions were to be asked by a moderator, who would be the one asking the questions, and we would each have 3 minutes to debate our position on it. He had something. He had something else to do, somewhere else to be, whatever. It's. I will find out later. Until then, I will give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that something is going on in his life that was more pressing for his time. Oh, yeah, you can ask any fucking question you want, John. Any fucking question you want. I am more than happy to answer. That's what the Q&A is for. Ask me anything. Oh, I quite like Warhammer, both fantasy and 40k. I never got into the miniature game, the little war game where you paint your dudes up and march them about and do that. But the various lore, oh, I love that shit. I've done some writing based in Warhammer. I've played and ran games of Dark Heresy and Rogue Trader. Doing peachy, Mike G. Just slightly disappointed that I get to debate tonight. But there's always tomorrow night. Battletech was fucking amazing. Oh my god, I love me some Battletech. Again, I never really played the miniature game, but the setting and the various video games that came from it, oh my god. Yes. By far the best Battletech game on the market right now is Battletech by Harebrained Screams, hosted by Paradox. It's a great fucking game. It's got its issues, but all crowdfunded games do. But that's what mods are for. It's a bitch and a half to mod, but when you get those mods on good, ooh, baby, is it good shit. Dating advice for shy programmers. Be yourself. That's it. It's a corny fucking line, but it is the truth. Be yourself. Go to the places that you like to go to. Do the things that you like to do. And you will find individuals who you would consider courting. And be your fucking self. Be as true to yourself as you can be so you can be true to them. Like, do not be ashamed of the things you enjoy. Do not be ashamed of the things you like to do. Shame is a method of control to try and make you feel bad about feeling good. Don't let other people control you. Feel fucking good. However you feel good, except don't hurt people. That's it. That is my one caveat. Don't hurt people. Of course, if they consent to it, then it's not hurting. It's kinky. I hope you like Skizzers, Lotus. He's a great guy. Yeah, actually, my glasses are missing a leg. I need to go and get them repaired, but I've been a bit too busy to go down to Lens Crafters over at the mall and have them patched up or get a new set. But, you know, they sit well enough. Hey, that's why I love my little older brother. He's a great fucking guy who's been through a lot. He's got some fucking stories to tell. And of course, him and I are, you know, the same kind of mentality when it comes to things. Facts. Fucking facts, man. Camel 99. I love smoking on a camel's ass. Don't smoke, kids. It'll fucking kill you. I'm just holding out that they'll have, you know, cybernetic lungs or vat-grown lungs. Yeah, he's 3 years older than me, and I'm 6 inches taller than him. And I've got about 50 pounds on the guy. Depends on what you mean by tougher. He fucking was in Afghanistan, man. I consider that man tougher than me. Because he loves the suck. I'll tolerate the suck and, you know, find rebel in the suck at times, but he fucking loves the suck. His playa name is Disaster Whore because he is happiest when things are at their worst. At the moment, he's single, although I've got him into polyamory. So, you'll have to be able to share him. Because that's what I am. I'm polyamorous. I don't talk about my significant other because I don't want harm to come to them. If you find out who they are and start threatening them, I will do horrible things to you. So don't think about it. I love them, and I will do everything in my power to protect them, including barely talking about them, as much as I would love to go on and on about them. John Dom, if you want to thank him for his service, buy him fucking dinner. If you genuinely feel thankful for the sacrifices he went through, I can, you know, I get in touch with me on fucking Discord, ask for my address, and Uber eats him out some fucking food if you truly want to thank him. My brother is a stockmonger. He's living off the inheritance that our parents left us, and he has done an assortment of odd jobs just like me. The latest jobs he had was a cupcake delivery man working for Cupcake Royale. They'd make some delicious fucking cupcakes. And he also works at a bar down in Tacoma, Bob's Java Jive. If you're ever in the Tacoma area, look him up. He'll be behind the bar, and he's a great guy to sling beer to, get beer from. If you want to know the things my brother's been through, ask him. Oh, what sort of horrible things I will do to them? I won't say. I'm not gonna threaten you online with promises of horrible things. No, just know that I will do horrible things. What they are, that's for me to know and you to guess and not want to have happen to you. Because I can imagine a lot of horrible things to people who harm those I love. Like, I am a guardian. I protect those I care for, and if I cannot protect them, I will avenge them. I mean, I could keep the house, Gary, but I don't want to keep the house. I want to sell it and move somewhere else more suited to my liking. Because frankly, I hate my neighbors. The only neighbors I like are the neighbors down the road. Lovely old couple. Runs with skizzers would be that. Minnie, don't give my brother the same treatment you've been giving me when you're drunk, please. He's a great guy. Talk to him. Get to know him. He needs more friends. Uh, if you want to ask me questions, please put my name in them so I know you're talking to me. But minifan, I'm rude to the people who give me stuff because I like them, and they know that if I'm telling you to fuck off, I'm busy. I I love you. You know. The more I swear at you, the more comfortable I am around you because I don't want to be judged for having a fucking sailor mouth. My father was a sailor. My mother worked with sailors. Profanity was a very common thing growing up for me, and I was just taught you don't use those words all the time. Don't use those words at strangers. They don't like to hear them. Your friends, though, your friends will learn the meaning behind you using those words, and they'll be fine with them. Because my greeting to Scotty, who's like fucking family to me, is hey Scotty, fuck you, and he's just like, yeah, fuck you, love you, because that's one of our little inside jokes. Foxhole Bob, Food Box Bob. No, I love the forest. I refuse to live anywhere where there is not a mass of trees around me, the sound of wilderness at night. I love the sound of owls screeching, frogs croaking, um, coyotes howling off in the distance. I fucking love that. And I do not want to live anywhere where I'm not serenaded by the wilderness every night. Missing the weapon? Which one do you mean? My axe? It's right there. My lucerne hammer? She's currently busy. The trash can is right there in my fucking in my closet. How much is my house going to sell for? As much as I can sell it for. I figure if I put a good bit of work into this, patch up all the little problems that exist on it, 500,000, 750,000, depends on who's buying it and how much they're willing to buy it for. I'm not going to let my childhood home go for cheap. That is for certain. I know this house is awesome. I fucking grew up in it. Skizzy Kitten is being a little murder machine. She is somewhere outside, stalking through the woods or through the tall grass, looking for little things to kill and eat. Maybe bring me a carcass. Hey, we all have our preferred sound of the night. Yeah, I'm waiting until the courts reopen to get this divided into 2.5 acre lots because that'll be easier than selling it off in 1 acre parcels. The city might be the county might be more inclined to agree to that. And the back acre lot I'm selling off to my neighbors because they can use it because I can't use it because there's protected wetlands going through my backyard. And the only reason my house can be in the position it is in is because it was built before those laws were enacted. So we got grandfathered in. Space Drive film, I'm making enough money to sustain myself. That's the objective. To keep myself at the present level of comfort I am at willing to make some sacrifices. I'll have to give up my childhood home and all the nostalgia that goes with it, but then I will have a new home. And, some people might be absolutely smitten having a wetland in their backyard. The frogs are very prolific, and every night in summer, they are very loud. It's quite nice. The downside is, of course, all the fucking mosquitoes. Oh boy. We got swarms of those fuckers. But that's what the spiders are for. They eat the skeeters, so I don't have to deal with them. Yeah, I do imagine I could make more money selling this off in individual parcels of 1 acre apiece for, folks to develop on. But that is a legal battle that I have to go through because the county will not do it voluntarily. They zone this shit out and they do not want to rezone it. I have to go into a courtroom and convince the judge that dividing up the land in my area is how it goes. Uh it's easier to go to one of the native reservations and buy them there. MH80. You can get those for like as low as $6 a pack, and then you don't have to pay all the gas to go up to Canada, have a passport, all that good shit. I could just go over to Bremerton, and there's a native smoke shop I can buy them all of them from for about like $55 a carton. That's 10 packs, so $5.50 a pack. Pretty good deal. Oh, the Pacific Northwest is uh, one of the most prolific areas for Bigfoot sightings. I think this is where the original one was held, where you have that fucking grainy photo of the guy walking along in his gorilla suit. Does Bigfoot actually exist? Uh, I doubt it. I generally doubt it, but the wilderness is a big open place where there's a lot of stuff that we don't see, a lot of untamed woodlands where nobody ever goes, where something of that nature could exist. But I imagine by this point, given how few the sightings are, it's probably a species going extinct, if anything else. And in 50 years, we might find, some remains to prove, like, yep, Bigfoot was real, and he went extinct. Poor guy. Technic, we left the chat because we were asked to leave the chat. I would rather be there right now, but we were asked to leave. So we are spending time regrouping, reorganizing, and planning our next course of action. Our next course of action will be something interesting. That's all I will say on that. Sup, Go Cougs? Patterson film. Da Blue. I think robots are nothing but good because robots are tools. You do not need to make a self-aware robot to do bitch work. Have them be as smart as an insect. Literally, like, I view insects as little biomechanical robots. They follow their programming, and if something fucks with their programming, they flip the fuck out and don't know what to do. Like a moth and a light bulb. A moth sees a light bulb and starts bashing its face against it until they die of exhaustion. That is a error in the programming causing them to self-terminate. Well, I would like the little robots that if they encounter an error in the programming, they shut down and wait for new orders. Ben, I I view myself as a biomechanical robot. Instead of being composed of wires and circuitry board, I'm composed of nanomachines that are little protein factories. Because that's what a cell is, a biomechanical nanomachine. And we're trying to make mechanical nanomachines to do the function of cells. Yeah, cigarettes are fun. I smoke them because I like the oral fixation that comes with smoking a cigarette. If I just wanted nicotine, I've got a pack of dermal patches. I'll bring them with me if I'm absolutely out of cigarettes and have no way to get a hold of them for a long period of time, like I'm out camping. I might bring a pack of smokes with me, but once I'm out of those, I just slap on a dermal patch and I'm good to go. Damn it. And this is why you don't get very overeager with your hand motions. Yep. Ugh. Sorry. Uh, Gary, I do not play. I do not play console. Damn it! It seems that this thing is registering my headset as my general microphone. Sorry for the feedback you're getting if that's the case. Hey, go Cougs, if you disagree with me, if you're willing to have an open mind that's acceptable to change, I'm willing to discuss anything with you at your leisure, so long as you are willing to change your mind, because I'm always willing to change my mind. If you can present me with an argument that is more factually sound than my own, I will agree to it. But there are things that I will not agree with, and I will support that argument. I will listen to you. I will not agree with you necessarily. Yeah, PC Master Race, Mike G. That's my preferred platform because my preferred kind of games do not play well on console. I kind of need the entirety of my keyboard and a mouse interface to play 4X games. You know, learning the hotkeys to make stuff easier. What kind of work do I do? Uh, I used to do blue collar work. Earthquake retrofit, traffic flagging, burger flipping, window chip repairman, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, a stalker at Walmart for a very short period of time. I left that shit quick. They're fucking slave drivers in there. But what else? No, right now my work is this. I consider this a full-time job necessarily, and writing because I love to write. If you know anyone who needs writing done, please hook me up. I'll show you my portfolio. I've got a bunch of stories saved on old Google Docs. Uh, no, this is not a bachelor's pad. This is a commune because I've got 8 people living on my property rent free at the promise that you'll get your feet under you and you'll get the fuck out of my house. And until you get your feet under you, you can live here for free, but I will want some of your time. I find that a fair trade off. Give me 4 hours a day of your time if you're not working. I have heard that, Justin Bryan, that Stellaris works well on console, but I just find it easier to use mouse and keyboard on it. I'm glad that console players can enjoy the glory that is Stellaris, and I hope they get inspired to write a great sci-fi novel off of it. Well, Lotus Wolf, eventually there is a point where you can't micronize the machine any further. Like, we have our atomic limit for gold circuitry to be used in microprocessors. Once you get down to 1 atom thick, the issue of quantum tunneling becomes a reality on your logic gates that control the ones or the zeros that process. Hey, some people like doing chores. If someone like that wants to live here, by all fucking means. If you enjoy doing maid work and you'll do it for you'll do it for room and board, fucking come on in. We will find you somewhere to sleep. Cougs, the whole reason I have 35 people in here right now is because of Borkness, and I owe that man a bottle of fine whiskey, or whatever the fuck his drink of choice is. Fucking, at some point, once this is all said and done, I will fucking wine and dine that man to his heart's content, because holy crap, I owe him something. Foodbox Bob, nah, the firewood cutting is my job. I like splitting rounds. Gary Hardrock, if you're willing to pay to go to what is it, Sweden, to go to the HR Geiger bar, sure, you can come here. I ain't paying for your ticket. The Red Devil is currently at a park and ride. She is staying near location for her necessary tasks, but we gotta get her a new battery before she's really able to be up and rolling and a mobile fortress. One thing I intend to do is I am going to get a really fancy chair, a throne, bolted onto the roof of the Red Devil, and have that be my Pope mobile. You know, you've got fucking people in parades on all these fancy cars. No, I'm gonna be sitting on this beater on a fucking wood throne, smiling and waving in open view. Go ahead, shoot me, I dare you. Why are you trying to kill the guy who's trying to make your life better? Seriously. Blind Mike. I do not know who Blind Mike is. If you could throw me a link towards them, I will look into it. I was not aware that an executive order was signed today, and frankly, I don't give a fuck. He could sign an executive order, and the next chain in the link of command can go, no, fuck this, we're not doing it. Because checks and balances. I do love them. Yep, putting the Red Devil into a museum, that's an end goal. Immortalize that bad bitch. But I gotta be, I gotta do something of significance to warrant her being in there. And while the Borkness crowd is significant, it is not significant enough to warrant a piece of real estate in a museum for a very large object. I've got to put a lot of work in to warrant her being there. Bubba Wallace in the news. I did not expect that BLM would get NASCAR of all things on its side, going like, fuck the Confederate flag, you're no longer allowed to fly that thing. Here's a show of solidarity for a man who received a death threat by a fucking lynching. Like, I am happy that NASCAR, despite being fucking fuel guzzling bastards that they are getting behind the notion of racial equality. Sweet. It'll actually make me give enough of a fuck to, speak positively of NASCAR for a change. Holy crap, I would never say, yeah, I like NASCAR. They're good people. What fucking reality am I living in? How do I think the United States should address North Korea? Fucking do it, you tiny, crazy little despot. The moment North Korea does any aggressive action towards South Korea or Japan, the United States Navy that is stationed in Japan, in Kurihama, will deploy and will level so much ordnance into fucking North Korea that South Korea will go from a peninsula to an island. All without the use of atomic weaponry. Hugo, no, I do not hate myself for being white, because it is something that I had absolutely no choice in. Why should I hate myself for something I had no choice in? Frankly, I would like to have skin full of chloroplasts, like in cephalopods and octopus, that would allow me to change my skin's color and texture at desire. That'd be fucking awesome. I hate the fact that I can't do that. That's why I'm working on changing the world. Uh, Folks taking spent ammunition to put into museums, perfectly fine with that. I know a few folks who picked up CS canisters and flashbang fragments to have as collected items, mementos, for their time in a literal war zone. And she will be back to the front line in all due time. I've got plans for that girl. I like older Trek. I like older Star Wars. The modern shit, pff, fuck that noise. It's shit. Last good Star Wars movie was Rogue One. Last good series of Star Trek was Enterprise. And I base the work off of its merits. And I do not see many merits. What the fuck did you do to Picard? What the fuck did you do to my childhood hero? Nah, not okay with Picard or Discovery. They do not feel like Trek to me. They do not feel like a utopian future. They feel like trying to push a fucking message about why I should feel bad for having a penis. No, Sandy the Squirrel is not an astronaut. She is an aquanaut. If the city wants to come back in and waste yet more of its money removing the barricades that they put down, okay, waste your fucking money, remove our defenses, and put us at greater exposure for getting a fucking drive-by. If the city will not provide barricades for the protection of the protesters, I will provide barricades for the protection of the protesters in the form of dragging lunker-ass cars out there and having them serve as improvised barricades as I did with Red Devil. I've got a lot of junkers, I just need a tow truck or a flatbed to get them out there. Good luck moving something that doesn't start and is running on four flats. Because I ain't moving it, motherfucker. I put it there. Um, Money can be used for materials or services, and providing service to allow a woman to have a child that is genetically theirs without having to go through the ordeal of motherhood seems like a good service to me and a pretty easy one to do because all you got to do is carry around an internal parasite for 9 months. Plus, some people enjoy the feeling of being pregnant. Win win. If you don't want to be pregnant and someone wants to be pregnant and they're willing to be pregnant but not raise the child, sounds like everyone wins in that case. Yep, I love my stoop sign, Bob. It's a great sign. Night space. Perhaps instead of, staying out of the cities where it's very effective to protest because there are a lot of people watching you, maybe the city should do something to protect you. Because if the city won't do something to protect its citizens who are protesting against activities done by the city from individuals who want to harm them, sounds kind of shitty to me. And if the city won't do it, the civilians will. The city won't like it, but I don't like the city. So fuck them. You can either be my ally in this or my enemy. Take your pick. Food box. I consider a fetus to be nothing more than an overglorified parasite. It can be a drastically bad thing for the woman because it can kill them. It drains an excessive amount of nutrients, resources, and makes the woman go for dietary objects that normally they would not want to eat. Pickles and ice cream. What a strange combination. It alters their neurology by releasing serotonin and dopamine to make them happy about carrying them around. There is no symbiosis with a fetus. It is pure parasitism. Because something you should bear in mind about mammals. Most mammals, female mammals, can self-terminate pregnancies. If they are in a situation where they believe they would not be able to successfully raise that child, a high-stress situation, they will self-abort. They will kill the fetus, cancel all nutrient production to them, and reabsorb that flesh into themselves to regain the nutrients. Humans don't have that option. The fetus will not allow it. It will do everything in its power to survive, like a parasite, even at the detriment of the host. No, the stoop sign was made by someone based off a comment by Trump that we must stoop the protests, take your city back. It's a Trump typo, immortalized in a malformed stop sign. I quite like it. That's why I kept it. The mayor is a crock of shit. She is a horrible individual that lied to the occupants of her city and allowed her police force to unleash war crimes on civilians protesting, as per their First Amendment right. The governor, doing fuck all about it, is showing that he does not care about the will of the people. So, fuck them both. Yeah, and why are public defenders, public protectors, not giving a fuck about my safety? If you are not willing to give a fuck about the well being of the people you're supposed to protect, why the fuck should I call you a protector? If they're not willing to keep the peace, why should I call them peacekeepers? The notion that everyone knows police are corrupt and then get pissed off that people are yelling about how the police are corrupt and we need to change it. You agree with me, and yet you are like trying to inhibit me. Where is the logic in this? Are you just too fucking lazy or too fucking afraid to do something about it? To put yourself at danger? To risk your comfort for the, betterment of everyone? Sorry, you're a lazy fat ass that's not willing to change a situation that you are in. Die mad about it. Like that phrase. Either do something about it or die mad about it. Your pick, man. Have fun. Nathan, I am fine with conservative step forwards. Carefully testing the ground ahead of you, making sure that you don't accidentally step on a fucking Lego. But I'm also fine with liberal step forwards where you leap 10 feet forward if you know it's clear. Use both feet instead of using them to step on people's neck. Go Cougs. That makes us evolved. There's no more evolved. There's no less evolved. A mouse is more evolved than you are because they have a shorter generational span. If something reproduces faster than you, it is more evolved than you because it has gone through more iterations of genetic exchange and have evolved more. Hey, Armin. Yeah. MH8. That's what we're protesting. If you do not agree with that, I think you should be protesting too. Because if it is a part of your nation and you do not like it, you've got the right to protest it. People died so you could have that ability. Use it. Do not let their memory and their sacrifice go to waste. The furthest place I have traveled was to Japan, all the way across the Pacific Ocean. I got to spend 3 months there living with my folks as they were both TDY, temporary duty yard for the Navy, because they were civilian contractors for the Naval Shipyard here in Bremerton, and sometimes they get sent afar. It was a very interesting experience, and I hope to return to Japan and spend, a 6 month period just doing a walkabout, being some random gaijin freak, enjoying the country and the culture. Because, oh boy, they got a very interesting culture. And go where, MH? Go where? Out into the sticks? Out into the suburbs? Are you just telling us to stop entirely? Because if not the cities, then where? Please provide a better solution. Please provide a better alternative. Because frankly, I find the city to be the best location. It's high population density, high economic density, and a very fortifiable position. It's very easy to get opportunities to shoot someone if they're protesting in an open field. In a city, you have restricted areas of access, making it harder for you to encircle a group and kill them all. Gary Hardcock, I've read a lot of fantasy novels. I've read Lord of the Rings, R.A. Salvatore's work, uh, Naomi Novik. She's it's kind of fantasy. It's the Napoleonic War, but if they had dragons, that's a good one. The new artwork up on my wall is a bunch of posters done by H.R. Geiger. I've got, I think, some form of sexual embrace. Like, you got to bear in mind that H.R. Geiger, if you stare into the abyss, you become lost to the abyss. H.R. Geiger stared into the abyss and started masturbating until the abyss got uncomfortable and looked away. But fantasy novels aren't exactly my cup of tea. I prefer science fiction because science fiction gives me ideas on how to better the world. Because we're not going to find the solutions going backwards. If they could do it better in the past, they would have done it better. But they didn't because All the shit we got nowadays is modern inventions, made within the last 100 years or so, outside of a few things like the car. Hey, suburbs got their advantage. Lower population density. I have listened to some of Isaac Asimov's work. I'm quite the fan of audio novels because it allows me to listen to a story while doing something else. Party on my spread anytime soon. You mean like having a celebration at my house? Yeah, I plan to do that at some point once we're at a position that warrants a party. Until then, there's work to be done. Salvador Dali is pretty good, but I was saying R.A. Salvatore. He's an author that did a lot of D&D based novels. The Dritz du Uridin series is one that he is most famous for. The purple-eyed drow that wields two scimitars and has a pet panther as his friend. That was actually supposed to be about Wolfgar, but Dritz turned out to be a far more interesting character. 5,000 wombats. I'm 32. I'll stare into the abyss until the abyss gets uncomfortable at me staring at it. Because there's something down there and I want to find out what the fuck it is. R.A. Salvatore. If I show you my guns, I think YouTube's going to have a conniption and ban this video. So, no, I won't show you my guns because I don't want to get this, taken off of YouTube or get my channel banned because, oh my god, he showed a gun! I figure once I get enough significance on it, I can start showing off guns because I know there are a bunch of tube channels that talk about guns. Yeah, but those are, channels that have enough significance or grandfathered in clause to warrant them being allowed to exist. I have been to Burning Man 2 times. I was going to be there 3 times, except I gave my ticket to Joe Buddy. Best fucking minion I ever had. I love that guy. I'd love him to live here again. So he could experience the burn. But yeah, 2 times. Metropolitan and Carnival of Lights, I believe, were the names for those years, or Carnival of Mirrors. Because every year Burning Man has a particular theme for all the art that goes in. Because you got to remember, Burning Man is an art festival. That is the core intention of it. The only vehicles that are allowed to drive along the playa are art cars or the Black Rock Ranger vehicles, which is the security forces and the emergency services inside of Burning Man. I did not get an elk last year. I was too depressed for hunting season. Maybe this year, if I have the time for it. Shadowrun. We're just missing fucking what was it? The goblinization, very short, hairy children of ears being born, and a fucking dragon flying around Mount Fuji to finally be Shadowrun. Be neat. Yeah, Black Rock Desert is fucking amazing. It is some desolate beauty out there. One plan that I have for the next burn is I intend to go there a couple weeks early, bring a camper, and just watch the city erect and then vanish. Because that's what happens with Black Rock City. It is literally a city of 50,000 people that just appears out of nowhere and then vanishes back into the desert over the span of about 2 weeks. Oh yeah, I intend to the orcs from Warhammer 40k, Nathan? I intend to orcify that rig. I'm gonna give her a fucking big steel gob, sharp pointy bits, and just give her the orky treatment, because I've got a TIG welder and I know how to use it. Not very well, but I want her to look orky after all. You do not go to orcs for precision workmanship. Yeah, fucking amazing. You know, frankly, I find the Satanists to be good people. Like, Satan was a good guy to me. For two simple facts. Hey God, why can't the angels be free like the humans? Shut up and serve me. How about no? Hey, humanity, you want to get out of this fucking beautiful prison and become smart and like reach the level of godhood too? Eat this apple. Sounds like Satan's a good guy to me. A lot of people blame their shitty behavior on Satan. The devil made me do it. No, you did it. You just want an excuse. Satan never made anyone do anything. They just use him as an excuse for it. Lucifer, a good TV series. Look it up. Yeah, it's the fucking Catholics that are the assholes. It's almost like the Catholic Church is the actual adversary's institution on this planet. Because I do not like the Abrahamic God. He seems like a control freak who is very contradictory in his beliefs. Oh yeah, I put the biggest male joy buzzer up their anus, but no, you're not allowed to touch it. I made you enjoy sex, but you're not allowed to have it until I say so. Makes no fucking sense. If you did not want me to feel good, you would not have allowed me to feel good because you made me. Now, science is what's going to allow humanity to survive beyond the grasp of normal history. Humanity might change. Our genome will be altered. Our very essence might change from organic to metallic. But if I had a fully robotic body, I would still consider myself a member of humanity. No, I love humanity. I love some aspects of I hate some aspects of it, some individual members, some ideologies that perpetuate through it. But humanity as a whole, love them. They are capable of amazing fucking things. Thoughts on simulation theory? It's a possibility. The possibility that some far superior species, civilization, came to power and is just running us as a simulation is there. But until I have, evidence that supports that theory, I will just continue living my life like this is the only real reality. Because if it is indistinguishable from reality, it might as well be reality. Yes, Gary Hard Rock, sorry. I played Bioshock 1 and 2. 1 was fucking amazing. 2, more of the same as 1. Didn't play anything after 2. Kinda lost interest in the series after that. Because really, Bioshock Up in the Sky, racism's bad. Duh. I don't need to have that put into my brain, because it's already there. I want an interesting story. Yeah, Satan is the light bringer. Sounds like a pretty honorable role to have. Any other question, folks? Anything at all? Because I see there's 25 of you watching me. Only a portion of that is talking to me. So ask your questions. Random observers. Ask your questions. I'd love to hear them. Why would I hate something I'm a part of? Why would I hate something that I want to see go off into the stars and take over everything? COVID's just another classic case of plague. We get them frequently. I'm just thankful that nowadays we have the methodology to limit the spread. Even though there's a bunch of fucking assholes out there who don't give a shit and are a bunch of selfish fucks that would put others at risk for their own benefit. Sounds pretty evil to me. Why are you evil? Why can't you wear the fucking mask? Is your face that fucking sensitive that putting a piece of cloth over it for the well-being of others is just too much to fucking ask? How fucking snowflakey are you, dude? How fragile are you? The only reason I don't wear a mask right now is because I'm in my own fucking house. But if I go out, I've got a face mask in my car. And I'll put that shit on before I open the door. China. Oh boy. China's fucked up. The Chinese government is absolute shit. It is totalitarian as fuck in the way it does things. And, well, I'm patiently awaiting China to do what China has done numerous times in the past and implode, fragment off into a bunch of bickering warlords who consolidate power and form a new dynasty. Because this isn't the first time China has gone through the mandate of heaven thing. It won't be the last. Ugh. Thoughts on Russia? Um, a lot of posturing. They want to say they are super strong and super big and super relevant, but they have a bit more than half the population the United States does. And a lot of its fucking natural resources are located in areas that they simply cannot get to because the weather is too fucking abysmal. So China can swing its atomic dick around all I fucking want. And it needs to stop bullying its weaker neighbors because that's pretty evil. Russia, stop being evil. I didn't wear a mask sitting at the chop because I was sitting well above 10 people above people and smoking a cigarette. But once I finished my smoke or my drink, I'd put it back on for the most part, unless I was sitting on top of the Red Devil. Then I wouldn't wear a mask. But that's smoking a cigarette, having a drink, eating some food. Kind of hard to do that with a mask on. Also, hi, Fat Sam. I see you're still being a useless sack of shit. I have tried to quit cigarettes many times, many times. Thoughts on the European Union? Cool. Consolidation. I would like to see a world government where everyone worked together for the benefit of all. That'd be great. Because there are no borders. They're imaginary lines drawn up on a map. So the more consolidation of the human species, the better. Because together we are strong. And borders just create invisible divisions that overall weaken us. Because powerful people go, this is my toy and you're not allowed to play with it. Well, I'm not a toy. I am a human being. The problem is, I draw satisfaction from the act of smoking. That's the thing. I like the ritual of having a cigarette. It's not just the nicotine. If I just want nicotine, I've used dermal patches. Those are nice. They are quite efficient to give you your nicotine urge, but it doesn't satisfy the act of smoking. It would make Americans on the same level as everyone else. A rising tide lifts all boats. You know, if I'm going to start by making Make America Great, haha, well, once I get America up to the strongest position I can, I'm going to start giving out all that tech. Start giving out all the resources. Like, here you go, fucking droid manufacturing plant, resource extraction facility, fabricators, autolays, fucking a 3D printer in literally every fucking home. But, you know, why aren't you helping people in Africa? If your house was on fire and your neighbor's house was on fire, which fire would you put out first? Clean up your own shit before you start cleaning other people's shit. And before you talk about my cobwebs, I like my cobwebs. I do not consider them filth. I consider them interesting. I don't give a fuck if you think they're filthy. I like them. This is my room. I get to do what I want with my room. And the rest of the house, oh, look. If people want to clean the cobwebs, go right ahead. I will not stop you. Because the rest of the house is not my room. My little chunk of this domain that I can call mine and store my shit in and do what I want in. Yep, I hold on to it so I have that little thing between my fingers to flick around and use as a fucking idle hands at the Devil's Workshop. I have not had a pet tarantula. While they are absolutely fascinating creatures, the amount of maintenance and care that goes into raising them simply I can't be bothered to do because one of the main killers of tarantulas are microbial life, molds and fungus and lichen and all those little plants that'll grow on them and parasitize them. And this area is exceptionally prone to mold. So I'm not going to put some little spider dude at risk for that. I'll leave that to the natural species. But if I could have a genetically altered jumping spider the size of a house cat, oh, I'd have that in a heartbeat. I would love to have that. I'd have him right around on my head all the time, just to spook people. You know, go get that bird. Boing! The inside story, as far as I know, because I was a grunt, I was a gatewatch. I wasn't privy to all the leader meetings, as it were, because you don't bring a private to a discussion between generals. That's not their concern. They will get their orders from on high in all due time. But the Black Lives Matter leadership in the CHOP felt, due to a large complaint from the residents of the CHOP, that the Night Watch was trying to act like police. So they asked us to leave, and we left. Hey, I like HR Giger's work. Xenomorphs make my dick hard. Joshua, it has been a downhill march for this year. Unless something absolutely fantastic happens towards the end, I think this year is going to end up worse than it started. Uh, no, they're not, Bob. Spider bites inject a digestive enzyme that liquefies your flesh. That's not good for your immune system, because your immune system should not be exposed to that kind of stuff, for one, and that's not the kind of toxin that you need to build up a tolerance for. I did not watch the newest Alien movies. I stopped seeing the Alien movies after Resurrection because they were all shit. I gave a lot of hope to Alien vs Predators, and it was shit. I gave a lot of hope to Alien vs Predators 2, and it was shit. After that, I went, they have fucked up my franchise. I'm not going to watch any more of this shit. The movie chronology for Aliens to me goes Alien, Aliens, Alien 3 is a hyperspace dream, as is Alien Resurrection, and the actual storyline for Alien begins with the invasion of Earth by the Xenomorphs. That's my chronology. I don't give a fuck what Fox is putting out, because they're putting out shit. I do not want to watch some robot get his digital rocks off to fucking creating the perfect species. No, the aliens had a story, and Fox said, no, we want to do our own thing, and ruined it in my eyes. So fuck the modern Alien movies. Although Alien Isolation, the game, that's some good shit right there. I have seen pictures of the Geiger train. It is fucking amazing. I want to ride that thing. Yeah. H.R. Geiger's work was surreal sexualized. A lot like this one right here was a rendition of his wife in bondage gear, done up by his twisted imagination, as was that one hidden in the closet. You don't see all of it because it's even more sexual. And I don't want fucking YouTube to get pissed off at me for having suggestive art posted up on my wall. A part of the reason for us wanting to leave was because of the shooting. And another part for why we left was because we were asked to leave. Like, a lot of people were pulling out of their own free will because of the shootings. Our security force dwindled rapidly after those shootings occurred, but a good number of us were willing to stick it through. We're willing to stay there and wait, but we were asked to leave. So the rest of us who are willing to fucking push through the fact that we're being shot at, were asked to leave. So we left. I mean, if you remove the whole destruction of free will from the Borg, doesn't sound like that bad of an existence, really. You know, I would have no objections having my mind uploaded into the internet, and I could just slot my consciousness into a body glove and do stuff in reality while enjoying digital paradise. If I had if the Borg came up and was like, "We are the Borg. Would you like to be assimilated? We have so much to show you. I'd be down. But no, the removal of free will from the option is what makes the Borg terrifying. Well, yeah, Black Widows can fucking kill you if you have, a weak ticker or a compromised system. Like, you should have gone to the fucking doctors if you saw a pair of Black Widows bite you. Yeah, and Prometheus was still shit because it trampled on the history of the fucking Forerunners. They used to be these fucking elephant trunk dudes. That wasn't a fucking helmet they took off. That was their actual face, fossilized. But no, they wanted to have it be just fucking a bunch of white guys. No, if you're gonna have alien species, have them look fucking alien. Goddamn. I'm sick and tired of fucking forehead ridges in high budget movies. Put some fucking effort into your alien life forms. Ooh, favorite Twilight Zone episode. Ooh. Uh. I would have to really sit down again and watch them because only a few come to mind. You know, the poor guy who just wanted to read his books and got stuck in a bank vault during atomic fallout, and he was one of the only survivors. And now I have all the time, and his glasses fall off, and he can't read anything. That was pretty poignant. It's like, and sucks to be you, buddy. Sorry. Oh, Lotus, your nation is full of some of the absolute worst venomous species out there. I think it is like the statement: the top 10 most venomous creatures on Earth all live in Australia. Like, if you go just by the potency and capability to kill a dude based off their poison, they all live in Australia. Australia is a fucking death world. I've seen. I don't know if it was the original Outer Limits, but I remember watching some of them back in the '90s. I remember watching those Outer Limits, but if there was a series of that before that, I did not watch them. Uh, there is the Ridley Scott theory where certain universes coincide together, and possibly, but I think that would put the timeline off for the synthetic life form because I thought Bishop was supposed to be something extra fancy, and Ash, the first cyborg, was well, not cyborg, android, synthetic, was like not even known about to the general public. People didn't know that these things existed yet, or they did, and again, I'd have to double check that, but it doesn't exactly line up in my eyes. Although there is the aliens and fuck, aliens and Serenity are in the same universe because they use the same armor as the Colonial Marines, I think, or was that Starship Troopers? But there's a brief moment in Serenity where you see through an anti-aircraft gun and you see the Wayland Yutani logo. That might have just been a little Easter egg, but possibly. I have not played Gamma World. I got these posters as a gift from someone. I think I got it as a Christmas gift, and I recently just found them and like, oh, what the fuck are these? Oh, a bunch of fucking Geiger posters. Sweet. I'm gonna put these up. Yeah, the blue goop was supposed to be the fluid that carried their electrical charge to their various systems inside of them. Yeah, New Zealand's totally fine because New Zealand was underwater for a while. Not a lot of possibility for shit to evolve there and be incredibly hostile. Yeah, I know Gamma World. It's a role playing game. At least that's the Gamma World I know. Favorite anime: original Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Cowboy Bebop. Foolie Cooley's pretty good. Gurren Lagann, Kill La Kill. Some of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It gets better the later it goes on. You know, I don't watch much anime. Oh, Macross, kinda. I like the giant robot shit. You can miss me with all the fucking everything involving Min May in Robotech is absolute shit. Fuck her. She's a horrible character. And Evangelion, I enjoyed some parts of that. The movie is far better than the series that was televised. I've listened to some Tool. They're okay. I haven't watched One Punch Man. I've seen enough of it to know like, oh, this would be pretty interesting, but got other things to do with my time. I really don't watch much TV or the like. I generally watch stuff that involves learning new things because that's what interests me. I like learning stuff. But if you want a fucking great TV show, The Expanse. I cannot gush enough about The Expanse. Oh my god, Amos is my spirit murder hobo. I'd have to know what his platform and his objectives were, and if they could be truly considered a honest, sapient being that has the best interest at heart for all of the people. Archer, Pine, Lorcas, Kirk, Phillips, Picard, Cisco, or Janeway. Cisco. I put Cisco at one of the best captains in any of the Treks. Picard, pretty good, but the man, he always searched for diplomacy, even when violence was the only answer. Cisco is willing to get his hands dirty to save a fuck ton of lives against people who wanted to kill everyone or enslave them. I see absolutely no reason to hold back on whatever means are necessary to prevent your civilization from being enslaved by another. That has a record of, well, if you don't comply with us, we will fuck up your genes to make it that you can never ascend to a technological level. Yeah, no, fuck them. You want to do genocide? We'll genocide you back. Because if someone tries to kill you, it is your right to try and kill them first. And there is no such thing as a fair fight. Honor be damned. If someone tries to fight me, I will try and bite their nose off, or bite off a finger, or rip off an ear, or gouge out an eye. Because you attacked me. All right. You should not attack someone who is quite happy to pop an eye out of its socket. Yeah, Cisco Punch Q. Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard. Oh yes, Samurai Champloo. That was also a very good one. That one always slips my mind. If a tree falls in the woods and there's no one around to witness it, yes, it still makes a sound because sound is a shockwave produced by kinetic impact that travels through the air. No one will hear it because the dispersal will be too far for it to reach any human ears, but the woodland creatures would hear it. They count as life forms that can observe sound. So, yes. I'm sure the insects inside the tree would hear it. Well, quantum mechanics requires that there be something around the area to observe it. Humans aren't the only thing observing things. Anything with operational ears will hear it. So there is something around to observe it. Exactly, MH. Don't fight fair. The only fair fight is one that has a referee. Everything else, fight for your life. Yeah, freaking Cisco's representation as a good father is also fucking a great part of it. Or Nog. Fucking Nog, the young Ferengi, where his dad is like, if you don't have the loaves for business, go into Starfleet. You'd fit well. Like completely define his culture's norms to make sure his son is happy. Like Nog was a good father too. Don't underappreciate Nog. I think that's what it was. The other Ferengi that wasn't fucking Quark. Quark's brother or cousin or whatever their genealogy was. No, it was his brother. Quark's brother, Nog, and his son. That's a good fucking parent relationship. And I like how Quark, overcame all of his fucking bullshit and eventually fought for, why, yes, all Ferengi women should be allowed to engage in business because half of the population is not generating profit. Why hamper ourselves? If you did, cool, M Street. Michael Jackson is certainly someone that deserved to be punched in the face if the allegations of his pedophilia are true. I put Michael Jackson as just a very disturbed man who did not have the opportunity to be a child, and when he grew older, he became one. But man's dead, so you can't punish a dead man for their crimes. They're already punished enough. They're dead. Yeah, Nog, son of Rom. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. It's been a while since I watched DS9. I really should rewatch it when I have the time. Well, MH, there are no trees on the moon, so the question is mute. Although, it has been proven that sound does in fact travel through space, just incredibly inefficiently, because the amount of particles that can reflect off one another to carry the sound wave are so far dispersed that the shock wave itself is incredibly weak. But sound does travel in space, just not in a range that a human could hear, no matter how loud the sound is. Relocating prisoners to the various city areas. If it's more efficient, although I think a lot of the folks in those prisons should be given the chance to be rehabilitated and brought back into productive society instead of locked into tiny boxes and treated like animals. If you treat someone like an animal, they'll act like an animal. You treat someone like a human, they'll act like a human. I do believe we could save the environment quite easily. It would just involve a lot of effort. You know? Oh, there's so much plastic in the ocean. Deploy an army of robots to sweep the ocean and clean up all the trash. There you go. Automate the means of production, including environmental protection and damage reduction. Have on every fucking oil tanker a series of robots that are designed purely to prevent leaks. Oh shit, we've sprung a leak. Deploy the fucking oil eaters. And you shoot off a bunch of little robots that you store on board loaded with canisters of oil eating bacteria. There's a bacteria that eats oil. We have found a species of bacteria that is eating radiation in Chernobyl. Bacteria. Fucking harvest that shit and put those little bastards to work. They're great. The various explorations we have done on the moon, the fact that we know trees require an atmosphere to survive because they use carbon dioxide as a building block and source of sugar. The fact that there is no water on the moon and all living life forms require water to operate. Now, there might, who knows, maybe there is some anomaly on the moon. But based off what we know about trees here on Earth, no, there would be no trees on the moon because the trees couldn't survive. Biology. Yes, the moon landing conspiracy theory. Well, I believe that's a crock of shit. Stanley Kubrick was hired to film the moon landing, but because he was such a perfectionist, he demanded to film on location. There's some theories towards that, Lotus, where the moon actually is potentially hollow at some points because of how it will reverberate after an impact like a giant drum or bell. But that would require further analyzation beneath the surface to discover. I'm all for finding out if the moon is hollow. That'd be an amazing discovery. Yeah, and they are being. We are a mass extinction event. Humanity as a species is a mass extinction event. Our actions have directly led to a huge increase in the annual rate of extinction amongst life forms on the planet. And we can take steps to prevent that by using more efficient means to sustain our species. Because again, I want humanity to get the fuck off this planet. I want to turn Earth into one giant nature preserve. So humanity a million years down the line could see our pale blue dot and enjoy all the splendor that terrestrial based life can offer. If you clone an animal, you also have to clone the ecology that they were in. Because if the more pieces of an ecosystem you rip out of it, the more pieces you have to put back to get it back to where it was. Uh, to the best of our knowledge, based off the meteor impact outside the Yucatan Peninsula, where we believe the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, they got wiped out by giant space rocks slamming into the planet. That's the best guess we have for what killed the dinosaurs, a giant chunk of space rock. Because it had happened before. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not the only time a giant piece of space rock caused a mass extinction event. The look up the Great Dying. That was a mass extinction event. I believe it was caused by a mega volcano going off. Yes, we have proof, MH, that living organisms need oxygen and water because every single living organism on the planet either uses oxygen or produces oxygen, and all of them require water. No life form can exist without water. If you can find water, you'll probably find life in that water on a microbial scale. And why not nitrogen based life form? Because nitrogen does not exactly go into a solid state outside of extremely low temperatures. The reason why carbon based life is considered, the most common based life is because carbon is an incredibly useful element that can do a lot of shit. The next one would be silicon, but silicon is less common in space. The components of life are the exact same list of the most common elements in life, minus helium, because helium doesn't play with anyone. Helium just does its own thing and tells everyone else to fuck off. There's water on Mars, yeah, and that's why we're going to Mars and checking around if there's any fossilized life. Maybe there's there's life locked inside of those ice caps. It'd be microbial life. We will not find anything larger than a single cell on Mars, guaranteed. No, Gary Hardrock, because if you work as one of those characters in Disneyland, you have to follow a very, very strict set of rules. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to wear the suit. So, nah, nah. I'd rather dress up as my own character. I'd rather take something from my own imagination and dress up as it and go pretend to be them instead. I like the characters I made. I think some of them are pretty fucking badass, pretty cute, pretty weird. You know, I've played ponies. Fallout Equestria. If you take technicolored equines and drag them through blood, sweat, tears, and radiation, it suddenly becomes a lot more tolerable to me. I've actually, 3 of the characters I posted up as art for my thumbnails were based off of Fallout Equestria. If all the evil people in the world were killed, I'd rather they not be killed. I'd rather they be redeemed and become good people. But if there were no evil people on the planet, we could focus attention on more important things than looking for traitors in our midst. Those who would harm the tribe. There are plenty of problems out there for us to handle that do not involve malicious humanity. So let's focus our attention on those instead of rooting out corruption. I think it'd be a far better use of our time because we'd all be getting along just happy dory, and then we'd have to deal with situations that happened because of random chance or circumstance instead of some asshole fucking us all over because he wanted a quick buck or to get his power fantasy off. I published my writing by sharing it on 4chan, and to anyone who wants to read it. If you'd like a link to my various work, I'll give it to you. I'll post it up on my Discord under Ragebrew's Right Faggotry. If there was a civilization on Mars, I'm sure we would have found some signs of it. But geological timelines are a bitch, and we'd have to do, geological archaeology to find out, maybe they existed a few million years ago, a few 100 million years ago. We'd have to go digging through the rocks to find them instead of scooping up along the surface like we're doing with our little probes. That would involve sending people to Mars, however, and sending a fuck ton of equipment to Mars as well. I think we can do that while we're doing the strip mining of Mars. If there used to be life there, we'll uncover all the rocks until we find signs of it. Then we'll stop and go, holy shit, archaeological information! Send in Indiana Jones! Oh god, Brad the musical. I mean, if one of you wants to write a fucking musical about me, you have my blessing. Please do. I'd love to see it. If I could be like Shia LaBeouf when they're doing X Murderer, Shia LaBeouf just stand up and start clapping. Oh, sorry for hitting my mic. Lotus, what would be benefited from covering up a discovery of that scale? And the only way you could have a conspiracy is to have it between two people. The moment you have a third, you've got a leak. Someone's gonna fucking snitch. I guarantee if some NASA scientist or technician or just the fucking janitor looking over some dude's shoulder while emptying out the box and saw that life on Mars, that shit would be blown up and shown everywhere because that would just absolutely devastate so many beliefs about the origins of life. That'd be amazing. I'd like to go to Mars. I wouldn't settle on Mars. But, climb Olympus Mons? Sure, sounds awesome. Let's do it. But I wouldn't live there. Gravity wells are for suckers. No, I am not for the one-way trip to Mars. I would rather we, not go light minutes out from Earth, months from receiving aid and supplies, and go into high Earth orbit in a bunch of living habitats. It'd be cheaper. It'd be more efficient. My pleasure, Gary. My fucking pleasure. It's why I do this shit. Justin, hey, cool fantasy, man. Make it happen. Well, yeah, people were looking. The channels of Mars was an old notion because people were staring up at them with optic microscopes from the Earth's surface, and they saw the various grooves where water would have been flowing ages ago, and they thought those were channels, canals built by some civilization instead of natural formations. But we've been to Mars. We have analyzed its atmosphere. We can check what kind of magnetosphere it has. We can scoop through the soil and look for life. And if there was life on Mars, we would have seen it. We would have found it because we're there. Our little probes are chilling out on Mars, scooping around, looking for signs, and we ain't seen any. Again, there might be the possibility of life stored in some pockets of liquid water underneath the ice caps, but we'd have to get there to analyze it. But again, any life we find on Mars will be single-celled life form, guaranteed. There will be no multicellular life beyond maybe like fucking water flea size, something you'd still need a microscope to see properly. Yeah, exactly, MH. 3 can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. I was born for theater, after all, Justin. Love to be there. Although I'd like to be on the world stage instead of, Broadway. Seems like a far more impactful place to be. But I'll take what I can get. I've never heard of Bob Lazar. If you could send me a link, I'll go check it out. If such an alien life form exists, we have not seen any proof of their existence. Maybe. Maybe in another galaxy, there's some civilization that has reached the pinnacle of scientific discovery, and they're building Dyson swarms around every star, harvesting minerals out of fucking gravity wells, whatever. But those folks would effectively not matter to us because they are a galaxy away, and due to the speed of light being a limiter on travel, we would never visit them in any form of approachable timescale. It would take millions and millions of years to reach them at slower than light speed. So I'm not worried about aliens in another galaxy. I'm more concerned about my galaxy because that's my backyard. I can. I'm sorry, Lotus, but I can only do accents when I'm drunk. They just stumble about and happen. Because I like the way I talk. Yeah, exactly, Minnie. We would be far better off building orbital space habitats than colonizing other worlds. Because look into the work it would take to terraform a planet to Earth-like. That is on a scale of thousands of years. It'd be far easier to just make a tube of steel sheathed in ice and rock, capped off at both ends, and spun up until it's going at 1G speed, using centrifugal force to provide gravity. That'd be so much easier than terraforming a planet. And also, if you terraform a planet, you can live on the surface. There's so much shit under the surface that you could use to build more habitats with. A planet should be seen like a mountain. You could look for a few caves on that mountain to live in, or you could turn that mountain into houses. Which seems more efficient? Yep, the edge of the universe is going in the exact opposite direction of us, and we will never see it. That's fine. I don't think we need to see it. I think our galaxy alone holds all the resources our civilization could need to sustain itself until the last stars died out, provided we used it in the most efficient manner. Government control weather patterns. The amount of energy it takes to create a storm and direct it makes nukes look like fucking firecrackers, man. Nah, nah. HARP has some use, but I really don't think it's fucking directing weather systems. Simply because the amount of power it takes to do such a thing. Again, a nuke to a tornado is like throwing a firecracker at it. Uh, no, Lotus, I don't think we are ready to travel the universe and just forgot, because have you seen any satellites in orbit from ancient times? Any records? Because people would write about that shit. People would carve that into walls to be memorialized for as long as possible. Like there's the theory of ancient aliens. Maybe, maybe the chariots of the gods in Hindu mythology. Maybe those were aliens. Who knows? It happened so long ago, we have no way to tell. And if they were here before, why haven't they come back? If they were so blatant as to fight a war in our skies, why now are we getting little fucking rogue elements flying through our atmosphere periodically as UFOs. Doesn't make sense to me. Cloud seeding's a thing, but cloud seeding involves releasing particulates into the atmosphere to attract moisture to them. Because at the heart of every drop of rain is a bit of dust, a little piece of mold, a grain of sand. Because that's how water attracts to itself, using electromagnetic charge to until it's heavy enough that it'll fall back down to Earth. That's why you're not supposed to drink rainwater. The shit's full of mold, dust, and potential bacteria. Don't drink rainwater. Purify that shit first. I feel the reporters were treating us in absolute lies. I think we treated them fairly nicely because we let them in. If a camera crew walked up to my gate and they'd ask, "Hey, can we come in?" Yeah, come on in. Just respect people's right to privacy and don't videotape their faces without permission. That's what we told everyone who wanted to stream the chop. Was like, come on in, do do one of these where you're just kind of scanning around, showing people what's going on, and don't get in people's faces and record them. That's rude. You're not allowed to do that without permission. Controlling the axis of the planet would require even greater force, an amount of energy that is beyond human keen at the moment. If you took every single fucking power plant on the planet and directed them towards moving the Earth, you might get a few inches at most. A few inches over an incredibly long time would be a significant amount of change, but a few inches at a time for a fucking planet is not that much. Weird shit in the South American deserts. I do not go to tropical regions. I just don't. Too many fucking parasites out in tropical zones. No thank you. A lot of very deadly insects and vipers and other things that fly and crawl live in tropical regions, so I will not go to tropical regions. I am quite fine in my temperate zone, thank you. I might go to subtropical regions. Might. But no. The colder it is, the happier I am. I'd love to go further north. I want to see the northern lights. They were fables. They were mythology. Maybe they were a human in a fancy hat. Maybe that's all that Anubis was when he showed up. He was some dude who took a jackal skull, put it on his head, and said, "I am a god." Don't know. Records no longer exist. I'm not too worried about the past. Learn from it, study it, analyze it, and go like, "Oh, so that's how we did things back then." But don't think that you'll learn something more useful going at the past than you will using modern technology and going forward. Forward. Fucking forward. Hey, there's nothing wrong with knowing about the past. History can be very fascinating. The fables of yore and all the great deeds that humanity achieved. But again, I don't think they did it better because they didn't know as much. Like, people want to talk about the powers of the ancients. Well, what about the powers you have right now? What about the fucking supercomputer in your pocket? This is pretty fucking powerful if you use it to its fullest extent. I've got a fucking chronometer. Just touch it and it lights up. It provides its own source of light, and it can tell me the exact time, date, and I can tell where my exact position on the planet is. I can contact any human I know the access code to. I can learn anything that is on public access on the internet. I can play fucking games on this thing. Entire imaginary worlds locked into this little fucking chunk of glass and metal. You can fly around the globe in a day. If you really put the effort into it, you could leave the atmosphere and experience zero G. I learned to love learning. That is the most meaningful thing I learned in high school. I loved to love learning. Well, I learned to love learning. Everything else, eh. Yeah, Carlos, the world's knowledge, all of humanity's collected information in the palm of your hands, and people just think it's some fucking shiny rock. No, treat it like the marvel of modern technology that it is. Yeah, I would love to learn how the ancients made Damascus steel, but the reason why, or how the Byzantines made Greek fire. But that is knowledge that was lost because they hoarded it. The master artisan who figured out how to make the sharpest steel, he did not share that information. He kept that a secret because it gave him power. Because knowledge is power. Well, baby, power to the people. Learn you some shit. Add to the wealth of human knowledge instead of just being a parasite on its ass. Show the world how to do it better. I know you can. Because schmucks just like you figured out how to do it, so can you. Don't tell me you can't. If you can't, you just don't want to. Yeah, the library in the fucking Vatican with 500, 1,000, 1,500, as far back as fucking the Catholic Church exists, and they could preserve the manuscripts, and that's information they don't share with the general public. They are keeping knowledge from you to have power. Because knowledge is power. Power to the people. Sleep. Finish doing this in about 20 minutes. Check around the various social medias. Throw a ping to a gal who knows my media monger who I need to get in touch with. Talk with my bro. Do the usual nightly routines. But outside of that, I don't have anything big planned. Tomorrow we've got plans. Because all the businesses are closed right now, so we can't do shit. I'd love to know how much they know, Lotus, and I wish they would share it. I wish they would fucking go through all those old manuscripts, fucking photocopy them, and post them up on the internet for everyone to see. If the Pope did that, I would respect him so fucking much. So much. But he ain't. Because mud tradition. Because the Catholic Church wants to have power. You know, that's why they didn't allow the Bible to be translated into native languages and only in Latin, and only the fucking clergy or those who could afford to be taught it knew Latin. So the preacher could say whatever the fuck they wanted. Like that's what this means. When they're blatantly lying because, well, this will get the peasants to do what I want. No, there's if you want some fucking great quotes, look up Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. The leader quotes in that can be so fucking relevant to modern day life. It is scary. Give them a look. Yeah, and I would like the powers that be to let go of our fucking history so we knew exactly what humanity was capable of. How great we fucking are as a species. Because the only difference between you and an ancient Roman is the fact that you know more. You have more knowledge to draw upon for the truth of the world. That is the only difference between you. You stand on the shoulders of giants. Everything you know, unless you discovered it, was learned by someone else and they shared that fact. They shared that information for your benefit. Memes. Before memes became the word for funny picture, a meme is information that is spread on a non-genetic level. The fact I know not to shit near my drinking water is a meme. The fact I know that poison ivy fucking burns and I've never touched poison ivy is a meme. So when people start talking shit about memes, remind them the alphabet is a meme. The written word is a meme. God is a meme. Yeah, so don't let the powers that be control the past anymore. Wrench it out of their hands and give that power to the people. Because power to the people, baby. Any other questions from the audience? That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your burning questions about who the fuck is Brad. I do not know of the hackers known as DDoS attack, but awesome. Fucking spread that information around. I'm so happy that I can download an application that lets me listen into police scanners. Because I think if you are a public servant, an elected official, you have to forego your right to privacy. Everything you type onto your phone, every email you send, every dirty picture you exchange with your girlfriend or boyfriend, every debauched sex scene you have in your bed, every night you sleep, every bowel movement you take should be on view for the general populace that you govern. Because you are a public servant. The only way to remove corruption is to make it that you can't be corrupt because you are always being watched. Always. 24/7 hour live stream that anyone can access. The only things that should be, restricted from public view are things that are considered sensitive information that we do not want our enemies to know. Do not tell your enemy your battle plan. But that can be easily done by, all right, now we're talking about and I'm sorry that you cannot see the piece of paper, but this is deemed sensitive information, so we're blurring it out. Or just completely blocking it off of a fucking black sheet. A redaction. You know when you see those fucking old reports where there's big old black lines scribbled through things? Those are redactions. Redact the sensitive information from people who don't need to know it. Because frankly, I don't think a civilian needs to know what America's battle plans are in case Russia attacks. That is something only the military needs to know. But being in the military is not an elected position. You say, I will be in the military. Very well. You are a private. Prove to us that you are meritorious enough to warrant a better rank. That you are competent enough to deserve a better rank. I would not want anyone having 24-hour eyes watch on a fucking general. Because they deal with some really sensitive shit. And they are very important people that if they get killed, there's an empty link in the chain of command. Yeah, MH. It's absolute bullshit that the Denver police encrypt their radio traffic. Why should we not know where the police are going? Why should we not know that the police are handling some situation that we should avoid? Oh shit, there's a situation going on just down the road. I better not walk that way. I don't want to interfere with the peacekeepers. But no, by concealing their information, they allow corruption to exist. How many cops are talking about killing people right now on that fucking encrypted radio channel? Far too fucking many. The history of paper coming to the West? You mean how some crazy old dude in China figured out how to make paper by making hemp, and then it got passed along the Silk Road, and someone went, wow, this is really neat shit. We should make this. A lot of inventions that, Europe takes credit for actually came from fucking China because China had a longer lasting civilization. They did not have the complete devastation of their civilization. They managed to maintain it, but it shifted around a bit. And you'd have some crazy despots who said, all history begins with me, and they'd burn a bunch of fucking books. Fuck people who burn books. You can restrict access to them, or sensitive information, or this information is bullshit. We don't want to have it here. It can be off in the fucking fiction section. But the Library of Congress, it has every single fucking book out there, and they've got an online form you can look through shit. You could look through the Library of Congress online catalog and freely look at books if you wanted to. Any kind of book that is in the Library of Congress. Minnie, help me, man. If you think I need more interviews, go up to people you know who do interviews and say, hey, you should interview this guy. I don't know him. To become famous, you need people to think you should be famous and to assist you, to support you, because you can't do it on your own. You need people to lift you up above the crowd and go, hey, pay attention to this guy. And if you think people should pay attention to me, help lift me up. However you think that is. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Yeah, and people shouldn't burn books. Do not destroy information, even erroneous information. Take the erroneous information and put that into place that says false information. But if people want to read it, let them. No matter what the fuck it is. Even fucking Mein Kampf. That crazy book by that crazy Austrian painter. People should be allowed to read that if they want to. I don't want to. But if someone did, let them. Maybe they'll learn something about not being evil. How the fucking deranged mind thinks. It is 10:30 for me, JJ. JJJ Boo. Juby? Jujuby? Yeah, and Minnesota's being fucking dumbass banning Mark Twain. He was a great writer. He wrote in his time. I wouldn't be surprised if, some dude at the Baghdad House of Wisdom went, I want more of this, Oriental knowledge. We should get it. They're not giving it to us. Well, let's take it then. Because knowledge is power. The more you know, the more powerful you are. So know as much as you can to be as powerful as you can. Yeah, fucking there are books being taken off Amazon, banned from general view, which is stupid. Put some fucking description in the bottom. It was like, this is erroneous information, blah, 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 blah. A fucking disclaimer so people know that this is a bunch of bullshit. But don't ban books. Don't burn books. Just let people know that this book is full of bullshit. This book is a product of its time. Because H.P. Lovecraft. I like H.P. Lovecraft's work. H.P. Lovecraft was massively racist and massively against any form of immigration or industrialization or urbanization. And you can see it in a fuck ton of his books. But the notion of Lovecraftian horror still exists, despite the man's flaws. Acknowledge the man had problems, and enjoy the work of fiction for what it is, a product of its time. Don't tell people they can't read it. Just let them know there's some bullshit in this book. Keep an eye out for it. And the Christians thought, oh, this book supports witchcraft and blah blah blah, and it's just a fantasy rendition of the British education system. Boarding schools. That one, that is a bamboo tapestry that I got while I was in Japan. I don't remember where I got it, but I remember I picked that up at some street vendor and went, ooh, this is pretty. I want to buy this and take it home with me as a memento. Because that little piece right next to the stoop sign is a metal embossed plate in a Japanese artistic style. It's quite beautiful. I think it's iron, pyrite, copper, and a little bit of silver. But whew, is it pretty? I like it. This one, that is one of H.R. Giger's pieces. Yeah, I'll give you the name. H.R. Giger. That is who drew that piece, that piece, that piece, and inspired that piece. You can't see it very well, but let's do a little. That is a Xenomorph Praetorian, the Queen Guard, who I have watching over me as I sleep. I mean, if you haven't read the Communist Manifesto, but you think it'll ruin your mind, read it. See if it will ruin your mind. Because, well, would it ruin your mind? Would it ruin your mind in a way that you suddenly think differently? That you hold different beliefs? Don't be afraid of a book. Don't be afraid to have your beliefs questioned and analyzed. And don't be afraid to change your fucking mind. Don't be set in your ways and think you know best. You don't know best. No one knows best. We're all working together to try and figure out what the best solution to the problem of life is. And it is the ultimate act of hubris to think you know best, that your beliefs are, without a doubt, the right ones. Question them. Always. Question everything. Even me. Hey, that's why I'm here. Ask me questions. Oh, the one that looks kind of like a dick. The only one I can think of is that one. That one's some gal getting her spine opened up and skull opened up. That one is something sexual, biomechanical. But I don't see what you're talking about, a penis. Mike Street. Well, M Street. Or it might wash your mind out, get rid of all the filth you've got in there, and suddenly you'll have a slightly cleaner mind. Give it a read. Why are you afraid of a book? Why do you think your beliefs might be changed so easily by a bunch of paper and a little bit of ink? Read it. Don't be afraid of books. Don't be afraid of knowledge. Don't be afraid to have your mind change. Because if you are presented with a better idea, why not embrace the better idea? It's a better idea. Better of Tulsa. All right. I will take a look into that. Copy, paste. Throw that into the Google search bar and open a window to look at it later. Thank you, an expert. No, no, and no, son of Yahweh. I'm keeping the stoop sign. That's my memento. I'm not giving that thing up. My blue hat, that's my hard hat. I use that for work. What? Why would I give that away? Even if it becomes, an icon. It's my hard hat. I like that hard hat. It's a very good one. And Red Devil, I'm gonna use her until she dies or she becomes famous enough to donate to a museum. If they want to, we will pay you money for Red Devil. Cool. I'll take your money. I'll use your resources. But if someone's like, would you like to donate that to the Smithsonian? Boop. Here you go. Treat her well. I ain't going to sell it on eBay, though. Those are my mementos. Those are things I can look at, pick up, feel, and remember how I got them. Because that's the kind of stuff I collect. I collect mementos. Like, here, I'll show you some. This little dude. It's an earth. And every stone on this is a stone taken from the geographical location it represents. I got that in a summer down in California with my parents' TDY. Low glass frog. My mother's spirit animal was a frog. And she bought this for herself. And I keep it as a memento to remember her by. Now, the things I keep are stuff that have significance to me, that help me remember things. But I don't keep useless crap. I keep pretty stuff. Now I've got a pipe that I never use that I keep as a memento for one of the fucking hemp fests I went to back in the day. If someone destroyed my glass frog, I'd be very upset. And I would hate that person. And I would tell them to never be in my presence again. Because I never want them in my presence again. And they would never deal, and I would never deal with them again, for better or worse. No, that frog is my mother. That is my memento memorial of my mother. Because her spirit animal was the green tree frog. Statues in public places are monuments to history. They do not represent history, they are monuments to it. The Southern slaver trophies are participation trophies for a failure. You do not get a trophy if you lose. I hate the notion of participation trophies. Not everyone deserves a trophy. The winner deserves a trophy. The South did not win. Ergo, they do not deserve trophies. The stoop sign was just some sign some dude made up and posted up at a couple of the barricades after Trump's little infamous little stoop twit. So someone made it, and I went. I really like that, and I've dedicated a lot of my time at this barricade that I feel I deserve a memento. So I'm going to take this useless chunk of metal, which was going to get removed anyways. Someone was going to take that thing. Might as well be me. I feel like I earned that thing. Yeah, my mom was a great woman. Crazy ass Hungarian bitch, hippy dippy gal, and she taught me so much. She is why I know how to cook. She is why I know how to garden. She is why I know how to be a good person. The good times, the bad times, Lotus. It's all experiences, good or bad. Because life is all about experiences. I don't give a fuck about things. I want experiences. Yeah, it's metal. It's a sheet of thin steel, I do believe. The kind of stuff that you can cut apart with tin snips. Now I can, hop up and show you the back. 1 second. Hi, Skiz. Oh. Eh. Damn it. Have to carefully position this on it because I've got two snake xenomorphs, old action figures when they decided to try and make aliens into a fucking kids show. Rated R movie for kids. Funny. And I keep them up there both as a weight on top so it doesn't topple over and as a little extra wall flare. Because more stuff on my walls to make it more interesting for people to stare at. Sounds like a good plan to me. Oh, nope. Okay. That's just an empty box. Doop. We're coming up to the ass end of the session, so any last minute questions? Literally, last minute. Apples are pretty tasty. Wide variety of them. I have to say, my favorite one is Gold Delicious. I find the texture of those to be quite appealing and the sweetness and all that good jazz. So, Gold Delicious, my favorite kind of apple. Although I'm never against trying a new one. Fuji apples are pretty tasty. I don't even know who that is. I must have muted him for being an asshole. No. A lot of the conservative channels are full of whack jobs and weirdos that I have absolutely no interest in hearing their opinions because I know their opinions are a bunch of shit. So, we're at 2 hours, folks. This has been Ragebrew and your cues. Until next time, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell if you want to give a fuck about my the various live streams I do and answer questions while I'm doing my 10 minutes. Until next time, Black Lives Matter. Automate the means of production. Go forth and conquer. Till next time.